All right, check this out from the post-millennial. Vote Republican, Joe Rogan, on how Americans can protect your freedom. Well, everybody knows that Dr. Joe Rogan is who you go to for your political and medical advice. I'm joking, by the way. Calm down, YouTube. And here's what happened. Joe Rogan and Green Bay Packers quarterback Aaron Rodgers got into the harms of COVID policies in a recent episode of The Experience, and Rogan took the opportunity to blast Democrats and give a boost to Republicans. Vote Republican, he said in response to Rodgers' question about what Americans should do about it. Quote, "No one who was alive today had ever experienced a true pandemic. And I'm hoping that now that this is over, people are going to, recognize that some serious errors were made and not repeat those. That's the best you can get out of it." So what do you tell those people? Rodgers said. Vote Republican, Rogan said. Rodgers chuckled. That's what a lot of them are going to do anyway. Wow. More than 1 million people transferred over to the Republican Party, I think, in 2021 alone. But, you look at guys like Ron DeSantis, who kept Florida open and had some pretty reasonable policies in terms of what to do about COVID. And, he mapped it out on television, full stop. DeSantis did not keep it completely open. They did shut down, but eventually faster than many others did reopen. There were a bunch of red states that never locked down. Kristi Noem, for instance, they threw a parade for her. Mm-hmm. He was widely criticized for this, where he was saying, we need to protect our elders. We need to make sure that medical care is available for those people, and everyone else should be able to do whatever you want to do and protect your freedom. Now, this is the crazy thing. Joe has taken the bold step of laughing and telling people to vote Republican. He's often said he was a liberal. He's defended all of that. He's like, people call me right wing, but I'm a liberal. And he is. He's in favor of universal basic income. Now he's telling people to vote Republican.
But I feel like it's not even an endorsement of the Republican Party. I feel like the Overton window has shifted so far left that it's almost like a rejection and vote against the people that are going so far liberal. I don't think it's like, a typical endorsement of the party as a whole. Yeah,
there was this graph that we showed a long time ago where it's like where the political parties are. And they created this spectrum where it was economic left and right and I think social justice left and right. The Democrats were all extremely hyper concentrated in racial and economic socialist policy. And the Republicans were spread out away from the social justice stuff, but varying from socialist all the way to laissez-faire capitalist. Mm-hmm. That was crazy.
You got to be careful about calling leftism liberalism as well, because there is an idea of liberalism is you want to be free and open with ideas and let kids kind of explore the world. But sexualizing children is not, I don't think that's liberty. I don't think that that's doing justice to children. It can warp them in their later years.
This is I think, on par with what Majid Nawaz refers to as up and down or something. Does he call it up and down?
I think so, like the axes.
Yeah, because he talks about how maybe he doesn't say up and down, but he talks about how religious zealotry is not left or right. It's something different. And if you've got people who have a cult ideology that doesn't really fit into any of these political political sections or segments, then we got to acknowledge that it's not liberal, it's not left. Like Jacobin, for instance, they're socialists, they're leftists, but they're pro-free speech. They rag on the FBI all the time. They rag on the Democrats. And I'm like, okay, cool. I can respect that, I guess. I don't agree with the socialism part, though.
So I think Rogan's, in the context of these statements, he's talking about the pandemic, right? He's talking about the way that COVID was handled. And I think a lot of people are just fed up and they see through just exactly everything at this point. Take a look at Fauci's riding off into the sunset in December, apparently. They're shifting gears and shifting the simulation. Politico is putting out articles literally changing the narrative, blaming the vaccine rollout on Trump now. So all the negative effects and all that will be blamed on President Trump coming forward. Dr. Birx is coming out and saying, oh, we knew the whole time they weren't effective. They're saying this. The CDC coming out and saying the same thing. There was the CNN, I don't know, she was some kind of medical something that was huge on masks.
Leanna Wen?
Yeah, she was huge on. Now she's come out and said that. Now she's come out and said the masks damaged my own child. So I think people get exhausted at some point. It goes beyond politics. It's I'm being driven in this direction. I'm being driven in that direction. CNN keeps telling me this. Okay, now they're changing their mind, and it's just this constant just exhaustion of the mind where the cult begins to push you. And I think the people that are waking up are just getting fed up.
It's got to break down at some point, right?
This is it.
Someone posted a meme, and it was just it was Janine Garofalo's quote, I think it was, and it said something like, if you vote, the only way someone can become a Republican is if there's something wrong with them. You can't be an open-minded, thinking individual and vote Republican or something like that. And I'm like, that's not an argument about anything. Like, you're literally being like, the Republican bad. Like, you didn't say that. Tell me why they're mad and why you think they're wrong to be mad. But that idea, I'm like, if that's what, I don't know if that quote is actually from her, it was a meme, right? But this idea is laughable that people would share it. Like, you've fallen for every major hoax that's happened. Every single one. If there's one thing that gives me that gives me hope, that keeps me white-pilled, and reassures me that we are on the correct side, is that we've not fallen for all of these hoaxes. Maybe once or twice we were like, hey, what's that all about? And then it comes out, we're like, oh, okay, that was a hoax. But the left and liberals, every single hoax, every time. And you know what it is? I think a lot of it, they want to fall for. They wanted Jussie Smollett's story to be true. It was great.
Right.
But it was just so glaringly obvious the dude was making up nonsense. Anybody with a brain. So at what point do the cult leaders lose that ability to convince ignorant people that these hoaxes are real? At what point do the masses just say, like, dude, you've lied every single time. I'm over it.